Oftentimes in sets, the best cards are actually not the flashiest. There are cards that are simply necessary to allow strategies to work. They may be super powerful or they may be complete build arounds, but today I want to focus on the cards that are the glue that holds decks together. In the next metagame, oftentimes these are related to shift lines or singing, unsurprisingly, given the power of those abilities in Disney Lorcana. But today, we're going to dive into the 21 most important cards from Ursula's Return. Let's get into it. Let's start with some Amber Delights. Julieta Madrigal is a 3-cost inkable Amber character, 1 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore, with the ability Signature Recipe. When you play this character, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. If you remove damage this way, you may draw a card. Julieta Madrigal is Rapunzel Light. The fact that she comes down a turn earlier is important for many of the self-damaging cards in the vein of Mother Gothel, Wicked, and Wretched. Playing that Gothel on 2 into Julieta gives you a virtual 3/3 for 2 ink that can challenge, and you drew a card off of Julieta, making her a virtual 1/4/1 Maleficent Sorceress. You are looking to set up 3-for-1 situations with her. The Healing 2 allows you an additional trade that would otherwise banish the target 1. The card draw off the heal, which would be 2, and Julieta herself, which would be 3. Even past turn 3 with Gothel, she is just another Rapunzel or Sorceress with upside. Miracle Candle is a 2-cost inkable item with the ability Abuela's Gift. Banish this item if you have 3 or more characters in play, gain 2 lore, and remove up to 2 damage from chosen location. If Amber aggro continues to even be anything on the back of Piglet Pooh Pirate Captain and various lore adders, whether it is Lucky the 15th, No Nonsense Instructor, Anna Braving the Storm, Anna True Hearted, etc., Miracle Candle could see use as additional reach. It is at odds with playing a character on turn 2, but combined with Sapphire item focused, I could see this helping spawn an aggressive archetype around Anna Truehearted and this candle. Ursula Vanessa. 2-cost inkable Amber character, 1 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore, with the ability Singer 4. This is clearly the best Singer 4 for 2 resources with the 1/4 stat line. Most importantly, she is an in-color shift target for our character on the right. Ursula, Eric's Bride, 4-cost, uninkable, Amber character, 2 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, with the ability Shift, discard a song card, and Vanessa's Design. When this character quests, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. Ursula, Eric's Bride, who I think is flying under the radar as a key answer for much of the metagame, people are focused on shifting her onto Ursula Deceiver. But if you want to have a bare necessities on a stick, who can also sing and quest for more in color, Ursula Vanessa is where you want to be focused on. Amethyst Potential. Jetsam, Ursula's baby. 3-cost inkable Amethyst character, 2 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore, with Challenger 2, and with Ominous Pair. Your character's name Flotsam, gain Challenger +2. Paired with the 6-cost inkable Flotsam and Jetsam Entangling Eels, which are a Amethyst character with 5 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore, and the ability of Shift, discard 2 cards. If the Shift Flotsam and Jetsam Entangling Eels is going to be a real card, likely in an Amethyst Steel shell, it will need a reasonable target to shift onto. This Jetsam, Ursula's baby, is a fine target. The 4 willpower means it will be hard to deal with the turns before you want to shift. If you do not want to have a larger body unable to act for a turn, you can of course simply shift immediately also. The Challenger 2 makes this not as embarrassing of a card if you have it in play if you do not have the larger shift target in hand also. This Amethyst duo may be one of the more unique ways to cast a whole new world and immediately regain the value of the Shift 2 discard cards while putting a 5/5 2 lore character into play that isn't always as easy to deal with for most opposing decks. Once again, we are presented with more synergy than ever for brooms within Disney Lorcana. The Magic Broom Illuminary Keeper is a 1-cost inkable Amethyst character, 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability Nice and Tidy. Whenever you play another character, you may banish this character to draw a card, followed by the 2-cost inkable Amethyst character Yen Sid, Powerful Sorcerer, who is a 1 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore character with the ability Timely Intervention. When you play this character, if you have a character named Magic Broom in play, you may draw a card, and the ability Arcane Study. While you have 2 or more Broom characters in play, this character gets +2 lore. Arguably the most important role player in the set, we need a 1-drop Broom so that Yen Sid, Powerful Sorcerer, can activate right away on turn 2. It also becomes a free play when you have a Mickey Mouse Wayward Sorcerer in play. Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer also needs a critical mass of brooms in play when he is played. The main issue within that very viable deck, you need a 1-cost broom to make it all work, and this Illuminary Keeper fits the bill exactly. Let's discuss the few Emerald game changers. Diablo, Maleficent Spy, is a 1-cost inkable character for Emerald with 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability Scout Ahead. When you play this character, you may look at each opponent's hand. And of course, the most flashiest card of the set, 3-cost inkable Diablo, Devoted Herald, which is an Emerald character with 2 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, the abilities of Shift, discard an action card, Evasive, and Circle far and wide during each opponent's turn. Whenever they draw a card, while this character is exerted, you may draw a card. Similar discussion on Ursula. You need an in-color shift target again. Diablo Maleficent Spy does double duty, oftentimes allowing you to decide if you want to follow up with your Diablo Devoted Herald with an Ursula Deceiver or a Bucky Squirrel Squeak Tutor. If your opponent has no songs, you'll know to run Bucky out there to pre-shift with no questions. You will also know if your opponent can answer the Diablo, so you act accordingly, whether it be play the Ursula or the Bucky, or maybe even waiting it out to find the answer particular card that could threaten your Diablo to begin with. Jock, Connoisseur of Climbing, is a 3-cost inkable Emerald character, 1 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, and the ability of Sneaky Idea. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gains Reckless during their next turn. Handing out Reckless is proving to be powerful, especially against other Emerald decks who like to have low power, high impact when challenged characters like Cursed Merfolk and Flynn Rider. Jock stops all of that nonsense and comes with a 1/4 2 lore body to boot for 3. Most importantly, his ability is on play, not when questing, so you gain the value immediately. Emerald Control is not particularly something we have seen a ton of success from. However, the cards here all have a unique chance to deliver that in spades. If Emerald Control is going to be a real deck, it will be off the back of this Prince Philip. I do not even think you need to shift him, as the smaller Philips are pretty weak, but you could use more Space Goo in a pinch. Being able to banish all opposing characters with damage on them is very powerful, and leaving behind a 6/6 evasive body is nothing to sneeze at. I think if Emerald can finally enter the realm of control, it's because this Philip and the music exist. But let's talk about the other 2 cards as well. Of course, we have to talk about the brand new 5-cost inkable Song for Emerald. We don't talk about Bruno, which does read return chosen character to their player's hand, then that player discards a card at random. Playing this before turn 5 will be devastating for opponents, and in the right shell, this will oftentimes be an inkable Dragonfire. I am seeing the pieces of Emerald-based controls shaping up, and this Oscar-winning song fits that right on theme. And of course, the location, Ursula's Garden, which is a 4-cost inkable Emerald location, 2 to move to, 7 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability Abandon Hope. When you have an exerted character here, opposing characters gain -1 lore. Emerald control may be centered around locking opponents from acting in addition to simply controlling the board. This is similar to Mother Gothel Selfish Manipulator, who saw very little play during the first chapter metagame. Placing a character here is a lot of investment. But if you have ways of also keeping this location around, it does gain passive lore and will make it nearly impossible for your opponents to race you. We are mere days away from the release of Ursulas Return. And for those of you that do not know, we do have an online TCG Pro Store. If you're looking to buy singles from us, if you're looking to support the Forbidden Mountain, you definitely check out the QR code here. It'll send you a link right onto our page. And at Friday at midnight, or maybe 3 a.m. or something like that, our store gets to go live. I'm sure the sales will be there. But if you're looking to support us in any which way, you can definitely check out our store starting on Friday and pick up all your singles needs for Ursula's Return. Now, let's get into the rest of the cards. The Ruby Impact. Mulan, Injured Soldier, is a 1-cost inkable Ruby character, 2 strength, 3 willpower, with the ability Battle Wound. This character enters play with 2 damage. This also has 1 lore. The second character here is Lumiere, Fiery Friend, which is a 2-cost inkable Ruby character with 2 strength, 2 willpower, and 1 lore, and the ability Fervent Address. Your other characters get +1 strength. Madame Medusa the boss, Brawl, Sisu. Lumiere gives the potential to answer all of those cards with just his ability. Get your strength big enough to challenge in challenging matters decks. Let your 1/3s trade into 2/2s and live to tell the tale. I think the Lumiere Fiery Friend will be a huge impact on the game states no matter which turn he is played. He is defensive and offensive threat that has a surprising amount of uses. Mulan Injured Soldier has the potential to be one of the most important cards in the set. It's a great target for Rapunzel gifted with healing and Julieta Madrigal. Excellent cook. Mulan has also 2 amazing shift targets just begging for a 1-drop in Mulan Reflecting, the Standout, and Mulan Elite Archer. Mulan Reflecting may be a real card if you can find ways to stack the top of your deck in Amber Ruby, but having such a cheap shift target for Mulan Elite Archer is really where this card wants to be. I think you are going to see a lot of Mulan with Julieta or Rapunzel if you have a way of discounting her on turn 4 into Mulan, Fiery Archer on 5 quite often, and I am definitely here for it. It may be one of the most dangerous combos in the upcoming metagame. A Pirate's Life is a 6-cost inkable Ruby song with Sing Together 6, and it reads, each opponent loses 2 lore and you gain 2 lore. A 4 lore swing on a song, one that can be easily sung by many characters alone. There's that Medusa again, of course. Oh, and it's inkable, so if for some reason it's too early in the game to have a giant lore swing, you also have it as ink. I think this card is being criminally underrated by many as to its effect on the metagame, and it would not surprise me to see this be a breakout hit for aggro decks. The other character here is Sisu, Daring Visitor, the 3-cost uninkable Ruby character, 1 strength, 1 willpower, and 1 lore, with evasive and the ability Bring On the Heat. When you play this character, banish chosen opposing character with 1 strength or less. Let's see. Who does this deal with? ... Take a deep breath, guys, because it is a lot. Cursed Mofolk, Flynn Rider, Hiram Flavorsham, Rapunzel, any 1/3, any 1/1, Yensid, Blue Fairy, Pascal, Ursula Deceiver, Minnie Mouse Stylus Surfer, Captain Hook, Force for Duelist. Do I honestly even need to continue? Oh, and she is a hero to boot? How fortunate for other synergies. Oh, she leaves behind a 1/1 evasive body that is around to sing, quest, etc. What a good deal. Brawl seems flashier, and I think both will see play, but I do think Sisu Daring Visitor is a for sure standout in Ursula's Return. Sapphire Lore Gains. Anna Truehearted. A 4-cost inkable character for Sapphire with 2 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, and the ability Let Me Help You. Whenever this character quests, your other heroes gain +1 lore this turn. A true build around, but luckily there are a ton of hero characters. Normally I'm not a fan of whenever this quest type characters, but she can build a board of gaining an extra 2 or 3 lore right away, and she does not leave behind an irrelevant stat line in a 2/4 for 2 lore to help the cause. Our next character here is Hans, Noble Scoundrel. The 3-cost inkable Sapphire character, 3 strength, 2 willpower, and 2 lore with the ability Royal Schemes. When you play this character, if a princess or queen character is in play, gain 1 lore. Any lore gain outside of questing is big. And have a 3/2 2 lore body afterwards is a solid addition. There are so many princesses that see play, both in the colors and outside of it, that I find it hard for this ability to not occur. Oh, Mulan is a princess, the queen is a queen, Anna is a queen, Elsa, Rapunzel. Now, how fortunate for this noble scoundrel. Our last character here is a 3-cost uninkable Sapphire character, Triton, Discerning King. 3 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability Consign to the Depths. Exert, banish one of your items to gain 3 lore. He is essentially a 3-cost character with 3 strength, 3 willpower, and 3 lore with upside. Any readying effect you may play may allow to gain 6 to 9 lore out of nowhere in the mid game, and he already has an insane built-in strategy with Shield of Virtue. I think Triton becomes a banish on sight type of character that will warp the metagame around him, similar to how Ursula Deceiver All does that now. Triton surely does have a very powerful effect that will not be hard to abuse whatsoever. Now let's talk about some steal gains. 1-cost uninkable action, Triton's Decree. Each opponent chooses one of their character and deals 2 damage to them. Triton's Decree gets around ward. If you can find a way to keep the board clear, it will oftentimes hit the problematic ward targets like Bucky and Prince John. The playability of this card will depend on how the menace shapes up and includes characters like them, as you will always simply want a fire the cannons over it, but if ward is a problem, this decree will be the answer. The funny thing about Triton's Decree is it does enable our next character. LeFou, Opportunistic Flunky, is a 3-cost steel character with 2 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, and the ability I Learned from the Best. During your turn, you may play this character for free if an opposing character was banished in a challenge this turn. Free is good, and in the ink color that has a whole new world, it is even better. The body is not great, but if you are playing Steel X with Sing Together effects, the 3-cost body that you paid nothing for can chip in with the chorus. He is the perfect singer for 3-cost songs, and as long as you have access to a whole new world, he has little downside and should play a key role in those decks. But the craziest thing about this is with cards like Triton's Decree and Fire the Cannons, you can effectively obtain a steel ballroom sensation in the form of LeFou by banishing a character on turn 1 with either of those cards and being able to play LeFou for free, and then starting on turn 2, start singing all of the incredibly powerful steel songs. Oh, where would we be without one of the most talked about cards in Ursula's Return? The 1-cost inkable item for steel, Fortisphere. With the abilities Resourceful, when you play this item, you may draw a card, and the ability Extract of Steel. Pay 1 ink, banish this item, chosen character of yours gains Bodyguard until the start of your next turn. It's not simply Popsicles 5 through 8, although this is the first use of this card in Sapphire Steel. Gaining Bodyguard on any character is big to protect your higher value targets. I think this card will fundamentally change how challenging control works. as you will efficiently and easily be able to protect your exerted characters so easily for the low cost of one resource. Fortisphere may very well be a staple in all steel decks moving forward. The 2-cost inkable steel location, Thebes, the Big Olive itself, is 1 to move to, 7 willpower, and the ability, if you can make it here. During your turn, whenever a character banishes another character in a challenge while here, gain 2 lore. Very easy to play and to move to. With a high willpower, if a steel-based challenging matter strategy exists, I think Thieves will be the centerpiece of it. Your opponent is unlikely to even touch it since it's a combo piece. And at 7 willpower, there is a dedicated commitment to taking it out. Good locations have seemingly been hard to find in many decks, but Thebes may be the key standout of the locations within Ursula's Return. Why is it important to kind of know the most important cards? Well, sometimes, like I said in the beginning, not all the cards are flashy. Not all the cards are for sure things. But oftentimes in sets, similar to what we're looking at here, How Far I Go, Frere Tuck, Rafiki, Maui's Hook, these were all cards that weren't heavily talked about early on in the Into the Inklands metagame, but they were all cards that throughout it made huge impacts. I believe the 21 cards we covered today all have the potential to make that same level of impact. I hope you found this video helpful. If I missed a card and you think that you have one to add to the list, please comment below. Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button for me. If you're looking for more videos just like this, I did the most best cards last week. 13 of them, of course, right there. So check it out for me. Enjoy the next video. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much. I can't wait to see so many of you in Atlanta. We'll catch you in the next one.